Hey everyone, welcome back to my house. Today I'll be reviewing the newest movie, Supergirl. That's right, we finally got another DCU movie, and this one's actually pretty interesting. I'm pretty sure everyone's been online, so yeah, this movie's getting a lot of hate, but I think it might be getting a little bit too much hate. But I hope everyone's been doing well, and yeah, let's start with our non-spoiler section. Since this is a movie in movie theaters, I'll be telling you guys if you guys should see this movie in the theaters. Honestly, I think it's hit or miss. I think it's still a good experience, so you should see it in theaters, but I don't think it'll be the worst thing ever waiting until it hit HBO Max or whatever, because technically it won't really connect to anything until the next Superman movie. Man of Tomorrow next year. So, and I'm sure they're gonna release it on streaming by then. So yeah, there's still definitely time if you want to wait for it. You could definitely do that, or you could just read the comic too. That's also really good. I still recommend seeing the movie regardless because I think it still connects to the DCU very well. And yeah, so whether that's in theaters or on streaming, I think either one, as long as you see this movie, because I think it's still worth seeing and it connects to the DCU, so that's pretty important. But yeah, if there's other movies you guys want to see, like I know there's a lot of movies we got coming up and you want to save some of your money, I wouldn't say you have to go see this one. But you know, it's a DCU movie. Why not have some fun, enjoy it? So yeah, overall, I'll say see it in theaters, but eventually just watch it on streaming. Just watch this movie in general because it would definitely be good for the DCU. And yeah, I wouldn't pay attention too much to the hate. I personally read the comics too, so I'm a bit more of an expert in this area for the first time on the channel. So yeah, even from someone who read the comics, I was a little bit let down, but I think the average viewer will enjoy it more, especially if you're not comparing it to the comics. I feel like that would be the case for most people. All right, now the main portion of the video, let's go into our spoiler section. All right, like I said before, I already read this comic, and this is really different for me because this is the first, because I really don't read comics a lot first off, but this is also like the first movie that's almost completely one to one from the comic with some changes. So it was definitely harder for me to review this because it feels like more of a straight adaptation of a comic than inspiration from the comic, if that makes sense at all. So yeah, I'll be lightly talking about the comics. So I guess if you don't want to know anything about the comics, even though you already watched the movie, I guess you could just click off. But I won't try to go into spoilers. I'll go into something that happens at the end of the comics later in the video, but I'll put a spoilers warning for that part if you want to read the comic. Because I will say the ending of the comic is very different from the ending of this movie. Yeah, not comparing too much. Character, cinematography, action, they were all good. Like there were some really good shots in this. I know I've seen people complain about the color, which honestly I didn't really notice until I looked back into the comic and I realized how colorful things were. But honestly, that didn't really bother me too much. I mean, I guess there were some spots that were a bit gray here and there, and each planet could have been more colorful, I guess. But honestly, that didn't really bother me too much. I mainly care about like the plot stuff and story, characters, and stuff like that. So that didn't really bother me as much. But I could see how that could bother other people. But I think even for like the average person, it would be colorful enough for them. Especially like some shows like Krem walking through the fire when he killed Ruthie's parents and family basically. That was good. The Supergirl sun shot, that was really good too. So there's definitely some really good shots in it. And like I said earlier, I think it did a really good job connecting it to the DCU. Like it fit pretty seamlessly, like showing Krypton's destruction, which was also in the comic, but also showing the introduction of Supergirl to Clark or Superman was great. Him showing him around, like yeah, that was really good. David Cornswell is definitely like born to play Superman. He's so great. Like every scene he had in this movie was like really good. But yeah, connecting it to the DCU overall was pretty good. Yeah, like I think over the entire movie, the whole journey Supergirl did for her to find her place at Earth is a really good. I don't want to say transition movie, but I guess kind of a transition movie for the DCU in this point. Yeah, because that's going to help set Supergirl's character up in the future. So I think that was really cool. And the flashbacks were great too. This is one thing I would probably give more towards the movie than the comics. I feel like it really leaned into, which I guess is a bit different because it's the DCU and, you know, the universe was different at the time of the comic. So I really like how it leaned into Supergirl's character of like not liking Earth and she doesn't have her people and she can't find her people because they were all dead on Krypton compared to Clark, who was raised in, not born, but basically raised on Earth. So yeah, I like that comparison between them, and we don't see that as much in the comic. And I feel like that was one of the main things and themes of this movie of Supergirl finding her home and her people. I mean, I could talk about the plot and stuff like that. I think the revenge plot was good, all this other stuff. But since it's very similar to the comic, it feels like I'm just repeating the same things I about the comic, which I know I didn't make a comic review video, but everything else is really, I won't say really good, but pretty good in this movie. Like the plot, characters and stuff. Ruthie, Supergirl. Lobo was cool. I wasn't too big on him. I don't know too much about him. I think I only seen him in one other comic, but I mean, he was cool. I don't think he was necessary, which I'll get more into later. But yeah, I think everything else was cool. Like the villain was great. I think the actor who played the villain did an amazing job and really showed Krem how evil he is. I do feel like they could have showed him more evil, and they definitely did cut some things out of the comics where he like massacred a whole entire group of people. But yeah, I feel like that would have helped. And just showing like someone's like so purely evil, and then like Supergirl trying to balance that is really good, even though I guess she kills him at the end. Spoiler alert. But yeah. Alright, I think that's all I can really say about this movie. So I'm just gonna go into more of the comic comparisons. Yeah, so first thing Lobo. I think he was cool, but I feel like it really did take away from Ruthie and Supergirl's dynamic. Like I feel like in the comic we had a lot more of them bonding together and getting to see that dynamic between them, which I feel like the movie really did lack, and it didn't feel earned how fast they became friends. Maybe that's just for me because I seen them bond more in the comic. So I don't know. Take that with a grain of salt, I guess. But yeah, I much rather them cut the Lobo. I mean, I don't know if just some big Lobo fans out there, but I'd much rather them just cut the Lobo stuff out and just focus more on Ruthie and Kara's relationship. I think that would have been really cool. Like especially towards the end with the Green Sun Planet. In the Green Sun Planet in the comics, we have Ruthie takes care of Kara. Like she fights off dinosaurs and all these creatures and like nurses her back to health for like 9 hours straight. Compared to the movie, Ruthie basically does nothing. I feel like she has like no role in this movie at all except for her revenge arc. But like it kind of feels kind of pointless. It's kind of like why is she even here if Supergirl could have just did it all by herself from the beginning of the movie. Yeah, so I did not like that. I felt like that part, especially that was one of my favorite parts of the comic, really showed Ruthie being helpful and why she's here and she has some type of role in all of this. So yeah, Ruthie not doing anything and basically being replaced with Lobo kind of pissed me off. Especially since they had such a great dynamic in the comics and she's such a great character and her entire arc. But yeah, like cut the Lobo scenes out, put some of the comic stuff in, or make your own scenes with them bonding more. I think that would have been great. But I think my biggest complaint is with Krem dying because he did not die in the comics. Spoiler alerts for the One Million Tomorrow comic. If anyone wants to read it, I'm gonna spoil the ending. So yeah. You can skip ahead to my rating. Yeah, Krem dying really pissed me off because it's like Supergirl talked Ruthie out of killing him, but then just killed him herself. Like I feel like what's the point of that? Especially when we have so many moms, like Supergirl's mom telling her to do the good, even if it's a bit more ruthless and tough and stuff like that, differentiating her from Superman. But then like killing, I also hate when superheroes kill villains. I don't think any superhero should be killing any villains under like any circumstances. It would have to be very, very extreme circumstances where I would be fine with a superhero killing a villain. That's just a big pet peeve of mine. So that like as soon as I saw that, I dropped the movie like major points, point 0.5 points exactly. I dropped it off. But yeah, it's just kind of like why would they do that with Supergirl's whole character? I feel like that kind of ruined the arc of her entire character. I don't know if movie only people would like this, but basically in the comic, they had the Phantom Zone or prison or whatever you want to call it. I'm just not gonna sound as knowledgeable because it's like one of my first DC comics, but yeah, they basically trapped him in the prison realm, and yeah, over hundreds of years, he eventually talked to all the people he wronged, and he basically turned good. Like he like asked for forgiveness to all the people he wronged, including Ruthie. But yeah, like obviously they don't have the Phantom Zone or whatever it's called here in the DCU yet, so I think that's fine. I just wish if they were to kill him, which I already stated I don't like heroes killing, but if they were to kill him, they would have to make Krim so evil and like so like he's past redemption. He could never become good. And I just don't think they did that in this movie, especially with the stuff they cut from the comic, like him killing the entire species of people. I mean, you had some of the trafficking stuff, yes, that was really bad, but it still didn't lean that deep into it to make it worth killing him, I feel like. So that really did bother me, especially when we see in the comic that he couldn't eventually be redeemed. Now, if they made Krim like I just said, completely different from the comics. Like completely irredeemable. The evilest person ever, then yeah, sure. But even then, I would still probably not like it as much. They will have to do the killing scene a bit differently. But I guess it really depends how evil they made him, and they did not make him evil enough for me. Alright, so now for my overall rating of this movie, I gave Supergirl a 7 out of 10. Yep, it was a 7.5, but when the killing scene happened, I dropped it to a 7. And yeah, honestly, I'm pretty comfortable with a 7. Probably see people being lower on this, especially bigger fans of the comics. I was really disappointed in this as a comic fan, but for the average viewer, I think they might like it a bit more than me or on the same level. Probably. I've seen a lot of 6 going around, and I think 6 out of 10 is a bit low, but pretty fair to be honest, especially since they didn't flesh out all these characters and then, the ending if you don't like it. I could definitely see that. But yeah, I was really hoping for more. I was hoping for an 8.5 to be on the same level as Superman. Because like the comic I have at least like at a 9 out of 10. I think it's like basically perfect. I think Ruthie's monologues are a bit too long in the comic, but other than that, I don't really have any complaints story wise and character wise. I think it's really good. So yeah, I was definitely disappointed with that. But yeah, talking about Superman in the DCU, we have my ranking. I got rid of Suicide Squad and Peacemaker and stuff. Well, I don't think Peacemaker's on Letterboxd, but I'm not trying to worry about the shows yet. But just the movies. I think these are the only two main movies, and yeah, I think Superman is leagues better than Supergirl. Like easily, I give Superman like an 8.5 or something. So I'm definitely having Superman over Supergirl. I'm a bit more concerned for the DC future. Superman had me feeling really well. But yeah, this is definitely lower in it. But I think the DCU still has a chance to shine, especially if Lanterns, Clayface, and I'm sure Superman 2 is going to be good too, made by James Gunn. But yeah, hopefully the DCU gets back on track. And yeah, because even though I'm more of a Marvel fan, I do hope the DCU does well. And butchering one of the greatest comics I read, it's not really a good start. And, they kind of had it right there for them and they still fumbled it. So I hope people don't overhate this movie. I hope it still makes some money and the DCU could still succeed for the future. But yeah, like I said, longer video because this is one of the big projects. The next big one I have is Odyssey, I believe. Then, we're almost at brand new day. So I'm really excited to get reviewing to that. I'm going to have more Spider-Man reviews coming out soon. I'm probably going to have to be dropping like 2 a week to make sure we're on track. But yeah, expect a Spider-Man 2 review like in a couple of days from this one too. So, and I'll have some anime content dropping next week too, along with that. And then it'll probably just be Spider-Man reviews along with the Odyssey review. Then brand new day. And yeah, I'm hyped for brand new day. Let me know what you guys thought of this movie in the comments below. I am close to 100 subscribers, like I said before. So drop a like, subscribe, and yeah, stick around on the channel if you enjoy content like this. Have a good one, you guys.